Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Rolene Marks, back from Miami, back in very excited Israel to bring you the top stories making headlines in Israel today. And top story today is that President Reuven Rivlin has started his coalition talks with the party leaders of the last election, the elections that we covered in great detail last week. Now, in the first televised coalition talks, Reuven Rivlin has started meeting with party leaders. Today he met with Kachol Lavan leader Benny Gantz, and the Kachol Lavan made it clear that they will be recommending Benny Gantz to be Prime Minister and that they will not be entering into a coalition with Prime Minister Netanyahu. How it looks at the moment is that Prime Minister Netanyahu is likely to be the one to form coalition because he does, with all the parties that he has been in talks with, he has got a 65-seat majority. So very, very exciting times. You can watch live if you are in Israel how these coalition talks are proceeding. In other big news, and we've been waiting for months with bated breath for the deal of the century and its details to be released to the public. But President Trump, the US president, promised us that after the elections, he would reveal his long-anticipated Trump peace plan. Now, according to inside officials who are rumored to have seen the plan, it is stated that it is unlikely the plan will include any kind of statehood for the Palestinians, but rather will focus on major economic gains, and words like autonomy have replaced sovereignty with regards to Palestinians within the plan. But we are all waiting. It has been the longest gestation period ever, and hopefully President Trump will reveal his plan to us soon. And in other big news, and in just weeks after the remains of Sergeant First Class Zachary Baumel were returned to Israel after 37 years, it is rumored that the remains of alleged Mossad spy Eli Cohen, who was killed 54 years ago by execution in Syria, will be returned to Israel. Now, the Israeli officials are staying absolutely mum on this, but a lot of rumors are swirling, especially around social media, that the remains of executed alleged Mossad spy Eli Cohen are on their way back to Israel, and we'll be following this story with great interest. And according to various officials within the Syrian army, they have made mention, or they have alleged that the remains have been exhumed and have left the country. So stay tuned. We will bring you news of that. And in our final story of the week, it has to be said, I mean, last week we covered it with so much excitement. Israel is going back to the moon. And while the Bereshit 1 did not land how we anticipated, we in Israel applaud Space IL and, of course, philanthropist who, I have to say, has resonated closely with a lot of us because of his ties to South Africa. Morris Khan announced on the weekend that plans have started to launch Bereshit 2 and send it to the moon. And as Morris so eloquently said, to plant the Israeli flag on the moon, and also to show children that if at first you don't succeed, you get up, you try again, and we learn from our mistakes. Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Rivlin also both saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And this is really the epitome of the startup nation and the tremendous spirit of Israel, and what we see as a tremendously huge achievement, which is joining 7 countries to orbit the moon. And depending on how you look at it, some of us say crashed on the moon, some of us say landed with a bang on the moon, some of us say, indicative of Israeli drivers landed on the moon. But Israel would be the 4th country to land on the moon. So an incredible achievement for this tiny country. And this is why we have the reputation of Startup or Innovation Nation. And don't forget, you can follow Lay of the Land online at www.layoftheland.online with some really, really cool new content. You can read Dave Kaplan's editorial on how Israel is providing water to Sierra Leone, and also you can read self-confessed Zionist Muslim soldier Yahya Muhammad. You can read his first-hand account of what it is like to serve as a soldier on the border with Gaza while riots are continuing. Also, join our family, join our Facebook family at Lottel Site. That is at Lottel Site. Like us, follow us, share our content, invite all your friends, and subscribe to receive your daily edition of the Israel Brief by clicking on the subscribe button below. And make sure that you are up to date with all the headlines in Israel. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. Happy to be back in Israel, although I have to thank my incredible WITO USA family. Thank you for just treating me like a queen and for an awesome, awesome conference. And until tomorrow, Letraot.